What's up, guys? Trail here, better known as Budget Bill, and this is your third stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Wednesday, February the 10th. Good morning, everyone, and happy hump day. These $1,400 stimulus checks are almost here, guys. These things could be approved by next week, according to the House Speaker. They plan to submit the documentation to the Senate next week to review and to determine if they are ready for Biden's signature. Even though Americans were hoping for an additional $2,000 stimulus checks, they will only be receiving the second piece of the $600 checks that were distributed in January, which is going to be $1,400. The stimulus bill may also include a $3,600 child tax credit, unemployment benefits increase, and extension of eviction and foreclosure moratoriums. We also have some new concerns around the $15 minimum wage increase. Some progressives like Bernie Sanders are pushing back against President Biden in an effort to rethink his decision about not including the $15 minimum wage increase. And then we have some new proposals that are out that would offer $300 monthly payments per child. And while all of this is going on, the impeachment trial against former President Trump began yesterday. And boy, was it a doozy. Now, those are just some of the topics that we are going to cover today. If this is your first time to the channel, hey, welcome and glad to have you. On this channel, we talk about finance, real estate, credit cards, and stimulus update news. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can be a part of this community. Also, don't forget to hit the like button for me if you enjoy this type of content. It doesn't cost you a single dime for me to bring this information to you, and all I ask is for a simple press of the like button, as it really helps out the channel. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. What's up, guys? We are almost to the finish line. The $1.9 trillion third stimulus package could be approved as early as next week. Right now, the Democrats are working this week to finalize the details within the proposal. The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, said that they hope to have everything finalized and ready to send off to the Senate next week for their final review. The Democrats and the Republicans tried to work together on the compromise and negotiations of getting a more bipartisan bill, as President Biden has suggested. However, the Republicans pretty much just spit on the current stimulus package and introduced their own skinny bill worth only $600 billion. Because of that, the Dems decided that, hey, these guys are just not serious about providing help for the American people. So they decided to go ahead and move forward without the support of the GOP. Now, so far, we know for sure that there will be $1,400 stimulus checks for Americans. What we don't know is if they are going to actually lower the income thresholds for those who will receive the stimulus checks. The original plan was to use the same income eligibility requirements from the second stimulus package, which was for individuals who make less than $75,000 per year and for couples who make less than $150,000 per year. But since then, the Democrats received a lot of pushback from the Republicans on who all would receive these stimulus checks. So the Democrats have been considering lowering those requirements. President Biden has said publicly that he is open to lower the requirements of the income eligibility, which would ultimately prevent millions of Americans who receive the first two checks to not receive a check under President Biden, which has caused the Americans to be angry about this whole scenario. The issue at hand is that both of these income thresholds fall in line with the middle class people, and all of a sudden, the Republicans are interested in preventing some middle class people from receiving the stimulus check. Now, mind you, when President Trump approved of the stimulus checks when he was in office during his term, the rich and the wealthy people actually received a stimulus check, and Republicans didn't give any pushback whatsoever. So because of that, the Republicans wanted to reduce stimulus for some middle class workers. They feel this is an attack on the middle class people once again. And here we are with the Democratic Party in control of the presidency, the House, and the Senate. And the Democrats are known for fighting for the American people. And now they are trying to cut millions of middle class workers out from receiving a $1,400 stimulus check. But don't worry, we have Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders spoke on this matter and said that this is unbelievable. If President Biden agrees to lowering the income thresholds, more people would have received stimulus under President Trump than they would under President Biden. And this cannot happen. Biden needs to step up to the plate and keep the thresholds the same as before. Those same middle class to lower income workers are still needing more help more than ever right now. There are also reports that they could include a $3,600 $2,000 child tax credit in the stimulus plan as well. This would be an increase from the current $2,000 per kid under the age of 17 years old. President Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan wants to temporarily expand the child tax credit for 1 year. This increase would be up to $3,000 per child or $3,600 for children under the age of 6 years old. But yesterday, the Democrats decided to take it a step further to enhance the child tax credit. The new proposal is calling for a child tax credit to have 50% of it paid in advance by the IRS. They are calling for this to be approved for at least from July through December. This would result in up to $300 monthly payments per child for children under the age of 6 years old and $250 per month for children under 17 years old. The way it currently sits right now is that the child tax credit phases out for couples who make $400,000 per year and above. But with the new expansion to this plan, the phase out would be for individuals making more than $75,000 per year and for couples who make more than $150,000 per year, which is why this is going to be only temporary because of the pandemic. Now, if you aren't eligible for the expansion plan, then people would still fall in line with the current child tax credit of $2,000 per year. In addition to the child tax credit, Republican Senator Mitt Romney introduced a proposal last week to help fight child poverty. He wants the Social Security Administration to send monthly payments of $250 per child to eligible families. Romney wants to pay for this enhancement by removing some popular tax breaks that have been given to the wealthy people. Vote for Romney 2024. Now, in other news, President Biden announced last week that the $15 minimum wage proposal in his American Rescue Plan might not survive after all. Biden is considering the heavy push back from the Republicans on the amount of the stimulus plan, as well as the additional money being added to the deficit. President Biden is trying to find ways to cut the amount of money in hopes that he will get more of a bipartisan support from both sides. However, Bernie Sanders and others is urging Democrats to seize this rare opportunity to pass legislation to increase minimum wage to $15 per hour. Sanders says that raising wages would literally lift about 1 million people out of poverty and raise wages for millions of Americans. But there are some concerns that wage increases would raise the federal deficit by $54 billion over 10 years. And so what? What's the point of that? What's $50 billion to the U.S.? Come on now, we're a powerhouse. Now, even though Sanders is adamant about pushing this minimum wage increase through, there is still one problem to deal with, and that is Joe Manchin. He is a conservative Democrat that can basically decide whether this bill passes or not with his vote. And so far, Manchin has said that no to $15 minimum wage increase. Manchin has stated that he would only support a smaller boost for lowest paid Americans. And even with Manchin's support, they would still need about 10 votes from Republicans to pass a $15 per hour minimum wage. Bernie Sanders said that they would never receive enough votes to pass this, which is why they need to do it using the budget reconciliation process, in which Democrats would only need to be united on a measure to pass it into law. Then Vice President Kamala Harris could use her tiebreaker vote to pass this bill. So right now, the $15 minimum wage increase is still on the table. It will probably not be in the stimulus plan, but as a separate piece of legislation. I personally don't think that they will pass it for $15, but I do think that they will be able to increase it from the minimum wage from the current price of $7.25 per hour. I will keep you guys updated on more news as it develops. Now, on to the impeachment trial. The Senate voted yesterday 56-44 to keep going with the impeachment trial against former President Trump. They deemed it as constitutional and therefore the trial will continue. The Democrats started off yesterday by showing a 13-minute video of never-seen footage of what actually happened inside the Capitol. Some Republicans decided to doodle while the video was playing, which is disrespectful in its own, but you know what, I get it. You're just not interested in it, right? Democrats were arguing that just because the insurrection on the Capitol happened 5 weeks ago doesn't mean that we should just ignore it and walk away from it. I heard one analogy that I really liked, and they stated that, let's say you worked at Best Buy and then you were fired. And as you were fired, on your way out the door, you damaged about 5 TVs by smashing their screens in. Should you be charged for those actions? That's an interesting point, and that's in line with what actually happened 5 weeks ago. Now, during the trial yesterday, Trump's lawyers seemed a little bit disorganized and confused during the trial as they were stumbling over information being presented. They even gave the Democrats props for their remarkable video that they showed at the beginning of the trial. Reports are showing that Trump was very unhappy by this performance of his defense lawyers. Not sure if any action will take place against the lawyers, but today is day number 2, and we will see how today goes. I will keep you guys posted unless you're just not interested in Mr. Trumpy. If not, let me know down below and I will cut that out of the next video. Outside of all of that, hey, this has been your third stimulus check update news for today. If you enjoyed any of this information or found it to be useful, be sure to hit the like button for me. It definitely helps out a lot and it tells YouTube to share this video with others. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button for me so that you can be a part of this community. And hit the notification bell to be notified of each new video. Again, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.